Silver's Rayleigh made his initial debut in One Piece Treasure Cruise on the 14th of July 2015, arriving 3 months after the initial release of the first Sugo-Fest exclusive character, Whitebeard. This new Sugo-Fest batch contained the worst generation with fan favorites such as Capone Gang Bedge, Big Eater Jewelry Bonnie, Red Flag X Drake, Roar of the Sea Scratchman Apu, and everyone's favorite character, Captain Kidd, and a Sugo-Fest exclusive character that had a special more focused on utility rather than damage, and a captain effect to the likes that we'd never seen before. Enter Silver's Rayleigh. In this series, we'll be traveling back in time to experience some of the older Sugo-Fest exclusive characters in their prime, aiming to show just what it was like to use these characters on their debut. I hope you enjoy the video, and without further ado, let's enter the Legends of OPTC. So here we are with the second episode of the Legends of OPTC series. Thank you so much, guys, for the support on the first episode. I'm really happy and super glad that you guys were fiending that series because I put a lot of effort into it. I'm really happy you guys enjoyed it. So I hope that I'll be able to continue to bring you guys these episodes at least once a week. That's what I'm aiming to do. Hopefully we're able to keep up with that scheduling, and we'll just hopefully, we bring out these episodes and you guys continue to enjoy them. So I know I heard a lot of people saying that they'd like to see me branch off and just to do like different eras of OPTC. Like I saw many people comment about doing an episode for Gear 3 Luffy and just other things relating to that weren't specific to Sugo-Fest exclusives, and I definitely understand that. And maybe as time progresses, if this series does gain a lot of traction, we might go back and do some other things like that. But as for now, I want to just contain this to the releasing Sugo-Fest exclusive characters because it's a lot of effort to do all of these episodes each time. So I really hope you guys do understand that, and thank you so much for all the feedback and support, as I said in that first episode. But I digress. Thank you so much, guys. Let's go ahead and move on now to this episode, which is going to be with the Dark King Rayleigh, Silver's Rayleigh. So with this particular episode, we're going to have a look at all the Sugo-Fest characters that debuted alongside him, and then we'll be jumping into some content, of course. So the first character we can have a look at here is Capone Gang Bedge. So Capone, he was a shooter character on release, obviously gained the Free Spirit class a little bit later on, and his captain ability, it wasn't too great. Special ability, changing strength and dex slots into quick slots, very similar to last episode where we looked at Izo and Blamenco. This is basically the third type of character for that, changing those colored orbs into the color of the character. So, pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy there. Capone didn't see that much play, but sometimes that orb manipulation was quite key, and depending on the content we take on today, we may need this character. Moving on though, we have Jewelry Bonnie. Now, unfortunately, this character, essentially never saw play. Even on release, this character was just awful. Captain ability didn't help out too much, especially because we had Clash Garp that had already released and was basically a better version of this captain effect, who was free to play. And then we had the special ability which said for 2 turns, boost the amount healed by recovery slots by 1.5, then 2 times, then 2.5 times for the third crew member. This was just an awful special ability and was never really useful. I don't even think there was any piece of content where this special ability was needed or even useful, right? This was just a terrible special ability, unfortunately, and a really bad captain effect to go along with it. Red Flag X Drake, who is a fighter character on release, who has a captain effect of 3 times if you're below 30% health. So essentially, it's a mono int captain of version 1 Whitebeard, which we covered in the previous episode. So this captain effect maybe saw a bit of usage. I know I personally didn't use this character at all, but I guess depending on the circumstances, if you're running a mono int team, being able to get a 3 times attack boost in 2015 was pretty substantial. But the special ability dealt 10 times his attack and int damage to all enemies, and if you activate his special with more than 50% health, you protect from defeat for 1 turn. Now again, this is a special ability that I personally didn't use, but I know that a lot of people would have probably seen a little bit of usage with this guy. Being able to protect from defeat depending on the situation could have been useful, but if you're using a special ability just to tank 1 hit from an enemy, especially in 2015, it's probably not the most useful thing in the game. But as we said, boosters are really hard to come by. Attack and orb boosters were very difficult to find in 2015. So let's go ahead and move on now to this guy, Roar of the Sea Scratchman Apu. This guy was very good. So he is a dex shooter character, captain effect. Now he does have a limit break expanded captain effect. I actually didn't know he had an expanded captain effect, but his base captain effect, 3 times attack boost to dex characters if you were above 99% at the start of the turn. Once again, one of those really good captains for turtle times. 3 times captain effect was no joke. But then Apu's special ability would change tandem and recovery slots into dex slots, and then does random dex damage to all enemies. Now you may wonder, why was this a good special? Why is this character so good? It's because there was a batch that released prior to this with just some other of the other supernova characters, which was this guy, Trafalgar Law, who was another dex unit that had a special ability that randomized all orbs that were not dex into either dex, recovery, or tandem slots. So you could have Law and Apu together to generate a full board of dex slots for your team. This was a great combination that was used for quite a while. This guy's also a slasher who worked very well with Raid Mihawk at the time, so you know the dex and slasher teams were pretty strong back in the day in early or mid 2015 at this point. And then the last character is Eustace Kid, who honestly still sees some niche usage today just because of his really low cooldowns and being able to generate slots, and he does a bit of damage, but we'll go through that of course. He was obviously a striker unit, so somewhat has synergy with Whitebeard as we discussed in the last episode. Captain effect, boost the attack of strikers by 2.5 times. For those who don't know, in 2015, 2.5 captain effects were basically like the golden age of 2.5 captain effects. If you had a 2.5 times captain effect, this was a character that saw predominant play, and in a lot of situations, even if you had like Legend Whitebeard for example, you just use Kid as your captain, because having a 2.5 times captain effect all the time was way better than having a 3 times captain effect but only below that 30% threshold, which was what Whitebeard had. And even like Clash Mihawk for example was a 2.5 captain effect to slasher characters. So if you were building a striker team, this would be 100% the captain effect to run. And then his special ability would change his own orb into strength, which, you know, any type of orb manipulation that was guaranteed was very useful back in the day. And then he dealt a bit of damage to all enemies, which depending on the situation could actually KO some enemies. Back in the day, some of those mob characters were relatively weak, so his special ability was honestly pretty good, with a captain effect that definitely saw play as well. This was definitely the most desirable rare recruit of the batch, but if you did pull Law from previous batches or were lucky enough to pull him on this Sugo-Fest as well, having Apu and Law together was great synergy back in 2015. But then of course we have the Sugo-Fest exclusive character, which was the Dark King Rayleigh, int fighter character, captain effect, which was super unique to the unit at the time, boosting the chain multiplier by 4 times. So now we've seen characters these days like V2 Sanji, V2 Mihawk, V3 Kuzan that have a 4 times chain multiplier boost on top of an attack boost. So this character only had the chain multiplier boost, and you may think that's a little weird, but back in 2015 and even into 2016, this captain effect saw a lot of usage, and on release this was probably the most desirable unit to have in the game, because it was a rainbow captain. You could run anything that you want under him, and he had a really cool special ability that did a little bit of damage, but it reduced bind by 5 turns. Now, back in 2015 and even in 2016, bind wasn't super common like it is in today's day and age, where it's essentially in almost every piece of content that you enter. Bind reduction wasn't as useful back then, but if you were inflicted with bind, having the ability to just outright remove it was very useful, considering that sockets were not in the game by this point. So having any type of utility was quite valuable actually. So that's the breakdown of all the brand new debuting characters. Let's go ahead and see what kind of content we're going to be running today. Alright, so now we're back again on the roulette wheel, and today we have added a couple of different clashes here. So last time we ended on Clash Doflamingo in terms of the characters that we were able to fight against, but we've added Clash Blackbeard, Heracles, and Aokiji this time, as well as the characters from last time as obviously. So we've got Mihawk again, Chopper, Garb, Zephyr, and Ivankov. I think the one that I would like to see the most would be either Heracles or Garb, because obviously Rayleigh has full type advantage against them, and I don't really want to see Mihawk. If we do get Mihawk, I will just do another spin, but let's see what we were able to fight against today, and we'll have to do some team building to figure out what exactly we're going to be using. But of course we want to be using those older characters during the release of Rayleigh to have the most fun with this series. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel a couple of times and let's see what clash we land on today. Clash Garb, that's actually quite fitting for Rayleigh. I'm actually quite happy with that. Alright, I'm completely fine with that. Let's go ahead and jump into the game now and see what we can build to take on Clash Garb. So we are back, guys. Now we are ready to play with Dark King Rayleigh. So I think from now on, I do want to actually go ahead and devolve the characters, but luckily enough, I actually had a duplicate copy of Rayleigh sitting in my box. So that's one of the good things, I guess, from having all of these copies from all of these past Sugo-Fest. And we can go ahead and use this series to its fullest advantage by using the unevolved copy of the character, just like it was back in the day. So this character, I have just evolved him. I haven't fed him any skill books, no candy, no limit break, no tomes. He is as raw can get. Fucking raw! This is like as if you just pulled it back in 2015 and you've maxed his level out. Though, to be honest, back in 2015, maxing out a character's level was kind of difficult to do because turtles were not as abundant, or just EXP materials were not as abundant as they once were. So with Rayleigh here, this is what we're going to be doing today. Remember, we are going to be going ahead and taking on Clash Garb, so we're going to go ahead and unlock that. But this is the team that we're going to be using today. So once again, we're using the Merry-Go, which is probably the best ship at the game at this point in time. But also, Nico Robin is going to be a really great addition to this team because she's going to go ahead and boost the attack of our int characters by 2 times for 1 turn. Great addition to the team. Very, very powerful unit for V1 Rayleigh back in 2015 and even onwards into other years as well. Just a 2 times attack boost on a special was very valuable. Then we've got Talnami, who also came out a little bit after the Nico Robin did, and it's not really that useful, you know, changing size slots into int. This was kind of a filler position and I didn't really have any other character to put in the position, so I'm just going to putting in Talnami for now and just that'll be it. We've also got Kobe. Now Kobe is a great addition because as time had progressed, more Fortnite Islands had been released, and this character was very good to have because his special ability on a 10-turn cooldown, so relatively low cooldown, would give all of your characters a 1.5 orb boost for 2 turns. So that is going to be very useful to have for this fight, just to make sure that if we get a matching slot, it gets enhanced for our crew. And then of course, we're going to be using Golden Pounder Usopp once again, because as we established in the previous video, Golden Pounder Usopp was the absolute homie back in the day, dude. The delay was super valuable, as we kind of mentioned, because sockets were not really a thing back then, and having the ability to stall the enemy to get some cooldown reduction was very nice to have. Okay, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the content and go over to the Recollection Archive and unlock Garp. So Clash Garb, here we go, for 20 points unlocked, here we go. Man, this is going to be super exciting. I have not used this Rayleigh as a captain in a very long time. Actually, now that I think about it, the last time I actually did use him as the captain was to showcase Sugar's chain boosting mechanics, I think, because I had to use a cerebral captain for something and also have a chain boost, so makes sense why I use him. But anyways, we're going to be going ahead and utilizing a Bandai Friend Captain, because the Bandai Friend Captain has the same captain as us in terms of its max level, but it does not have any special level ups. It doesn't have any tomes for sockets. It doesn't have a limit break, no cotton candy. So it's about as good as it gets in terms of, you know, going back in the day to 2015. Okay, so here we go. Vice Admiral Garp. This is going to be exciting. Let's go ahead and jump into it and hopefully not fail on the first attempt like we did in the first episode. All right, so here we go. Versus Vice Admiral Garp with version 1 Rayleigh. So let's jump into it. Of course, the first thing that we need to do is establish our cooldowns. That is going to be very, very important. Now remember that Rayleigh does not have a lot of health here. Look at this, 13,000 HP. We need to ensure that we get our specials ready to go, namely the Robin. The Robin is going to be very important, as well as the Kobe. So we're going to go ahead and stall. I actually don't know how much damage these guys do to us. Hopefully it's not too much. That is a pretty substantial amount of damage, but I do have a feeling that we're probably going to KO in 1 turn if we have everything in our favor, so I am kind of okay with this. I think we're going to go ahead and eat this recovery slot and then just stall 1 turn, but that's one of the things with Rayleigh, because his captain effect just relies on your chain multiplier to give you the increased attack value. So the thing about it is like, you can actually get a lot of stall off, because the first couple of attacks will not really do that much damage, but of course after the first perfect, the next character to attack has their chain multiplier boosted up to a 10 times, which is quite a substantial increase. This stage could be quite annoying as well. We ideally want to kill the seahorse first, because typically when the seahorse attacks, he binds one of our characters. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get Rayleigh's special ability to activate throughout this quest here, so we're going to attack with Golden Pounder Usopp first. And he actually has 7 HP. That's pretty annoying. How much HP do these guys have? They have 4. Okay, so we can go ahead and kill these guys at least. I actually don't know what these guys do to us. But getting matching slots is going to be very important for the last stage. That is a lot of damage. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's just go ahead and move on. We don't want to deal with that no more. That was a lot of damage. And we don't have any auto healing either. So here we have Helmeppo on stage 3. What's his first strike? What does he do? Oh my god. We nearly died. Okay, we need to make sure that Helmeppo goes down. Now, as I've already established, we're not going to be getting that Rayleigh special to activate. So, essentially, all the specials that we need are going to be ready here. So, we can go ahead and kill Helmeppo. I don't think he has that much health. Let's see. Okay, no, he died very quickly there, which is actually really good for us. We did get a recovery slot. Let's go ahead and consume that really quick. I don't know what Kobe does on the next stage, but definitely taking him out is going to be important because, oh, we did get another recovery slot. That's actually very lucky. Let's go ahead and move on. We don't want to take any damage from this turtle. And now we can move on to Kobe, and I believe there's another marine character here. So stage 4, here we go. Settle down. Sea Prism Stone Cuffs. Okay, luckily, wait, okay, so I think I might have had level 1 bind. Actually, let me go to effects, active powers. Yeah, we have level 2 bind. I think it's only 1 turn of bind that are applied to our bottom row. So I think what we should do is probably tank 1 hit of damage, but I don't really want to do that either. That actually kind of scares me, but let's go ahead and let's just take 1 turn away. Let's just see what would have happened. So he powers himself up. That's annoying. Okay, so we need to kill him this turn, and ideally we want to have some slots, but it's not gonna go our favor.
Hello.
So I am gonna attack with these guys. Okay, not really that much health on Kobe's side. And hopefully we get another couple slots would be nice. Here we go. Boss stage against Garp. Let's see what we have here. We do have a size slot on the Nami, which means that Nami will get a guaranteed matching slot. That's good to see. We actually could have used the Golden Pound Usopp special. I don't know why I didn't use it there. We definitely should have used the Golden Pound Usopp special on stage 4 because that would have given us a lot of turns of stall to try and get even more beneficial slots for our team here. So what we can do here is we can go ahead and use the Towel Nami special, which will go ahead and give the size slot into an in slot, which is what we want. Let's go ahead and use Kobe, which is going to give all our orbs a 1.5 times amplification, and use the Robin special, which will give us a 2 times attack boost to our int characters, and hopefully that's enough damage. Now we need to do like 2 million damage. I think Garp has like 2 million or 2.1 million. Let's attack and see how much damage we can do here. Let's go. All right, here we go. Oh, let's go! 2.13 million damage. That was so close. Okay, as I said, we probably should have used the Golden Pound Usopp on stage 4 to ensure that we could have stalled a bit longer and gotten more matching slots to secure the victory. But definitely, if there was a better character to manipulate our slots, we would use that instead of Tao Nami here. But yeah, there we go. You know, back in the day, not really too many good boosters or buffers for our team. Later on down the line, there's going to be a Fortnite Kalgara, or a Fortnite Nolan, should I say, which is going to be a much better orb booster for the int team, but currently, right now, there really isn't a lot going on, so either way, we got the job done versus the Clash Garp, which was super impressive, dude. Oh my god, that was stressful. But, you know, of course, if we had Max Limit Break and we had the Super Evolution, of course, this would have been far easier to do. But still, that was a bunch of fun, utilizing an old school int team with Rayleigh as the captain to go ahead and take on Clash Garp. And that's the type of teams that people were running back in 2015. So I think with all being said, guys, we're going to wrap up this video today. The next video that you guys will be seeing for this series will be with V1 Boa Hancock. So that character should be a little bit more fun to use, I think, as well. Boosting, you know, 2 different colors, so we get a little bit more variety there. But still, this was really, really fun to go ahead and use V1 Rayleigh. It's been a long time since I used him as a captain. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.